Maybe you've been in pickup for years. You might be getting a girl just immediately saying no and or just ignoring you outright.
Happens to me a lot. It's really hard out there.
So in this video, we're going to break it down. Is this something that you're doing?
Or is it more likely because you're an ugly mother? It's because you're ugly. I mean, that's the whole video, right? It's just you're ugly. You tried like 50 approaches, they all failed, and it's because you're ugly, and there's nothing you could do differently. It's not your fault, it's out of your control. Black pill for life, let's go. You are a god of charisma, your game is perfect, and yet you fail again and again because you're an ugly little worm. Now, our friend, the bald 5'5" guy who's got a huge gut and is dating a 10, well, that's not real, right? That's fake, is what I'm gonna go with. Or maybe, perhaps, there are some things that are causing your initial interactions to go badly. If you're getting constantly rejected, where girls are almost always saying, I have a boyfriend, or I have to go meet my friends, I have to go to the bathroom, but I'll be back. They're not coming back. They're not coming back. If that keeps happening, where your success rate of initial approaches is extremely low, this video is going to teach you everything you need to know to increase it, honestly, in some cases, by multiple times.
Yo, bitch, I got some buzzes clawing at my fucking stomach.
Welcome to the New York City Seduction Bootcamp, July 1st through the 3rd. That's right, the weekend of 4th of July. 3 days in the Big Apple, talking to gorgeous models, going to the biggest clubs, during New York's biggest event. We'll be working on your charisma, your approach, your masculinity, making you more attractive to the opposite sex, helping you design your dream dating life. There are only 3 spots left for this event. Payment plans are available. If you're interested, text NYC to 702-841-9909. I look forward to hearing from you. Every person goes through a stage where they just get outright rejected. I've had it, Avery's had it.
Oh man, for me it was bad. You know what, the first times I did day game, I watched a lot of RSD Julian, and what I would do is he had videos where he would open with insults, so I would do this in my college campus. So I'd open like, why are you eating Starbucks? Or drinking Starbucks? That's bad for you. You know that's bad for you, right? And I would like antagonize them, and they'd be like, can you go away?
Yeah, about right.
Like, yeah. And every girl rejected me. Now, my looks haven't changed. If anything, they've gotten worse, yet my success rate has gotten much higher because there's a lot of basic things that are very easy to do wrong with the initial approach.
Yeah, well, for example, one of the things I find a lot of clients are doing wrong is tonality. You might be walking up to a girl and building rapport with your tone. Hey, how's it going? Sounding absolutely like a salesman. Sounding like you're not trying to truly connect with her. Sounding like you're just not trying to get rejected. And this oftentimes turns around to you getting rejected. The girl doesn't want to talk to a guy that's like that. She's like, hey, you're really cute, and I want to come and say hi. Shut up. No, that's not going to work.
Well, so what does that imply? And I see that all the time with bootcamp clients. It might be even more than half of bootcamp clients speak in a very seeking rapport tonality when they initially approach. They're like, hi, it's nice meeting you. So are you from here? The voice is going up, and they're supplicating. They're selling themselves, like you said. Why do you think that's so bad?
It indicates a lot of different things. Well, firstly, it indicates that you think you're lower value than her because you're supplicating to her. A girl doesn't want to date a guy that's at or below her in value. She wants to date a guy that's above her. Does that sound like a guy that's above her?
Well, a great metaphor is work. So the boss is not gonna, if they're gonna get anything done, let's say you're working in a restaurant, whatever. If you're the boss, and you're like, can you go cook that? Can you cook that steak dinner real quick? The customers are upset that it's taking too long. Can you do that? Do you think that's gonna work? No. How does the manager talk? They're like, go cook that. If you don't want to get fired, you dummy. But there's a very big difference. So the person with higher status speaks with authority, and that is very pertinent, you can tell, in their tone. Yeah. And this is one, like, really, you probably are doing this, but you don't know it. You're probably not aware of it. It's so common that, like, when the guys talk to us, they have a different tone than they talk to a girl. Completely changes because they go in a different mode, right? Of like, oh, I need to sell myself and put her on a pedestal. The best way to find out is just record some of your approaches. Record a couple of your approaches and see how you sound. See as your voice kind of like going up and kind of selling yourself, and then you can fix it. Until you're aware you're doing this, it's going to be very hard to fix. And you can do that. You can literally just hold out an iPhone, because our mic wasn't working, that's why we're using it right now. You can hold out an iPhone and just have the voice memos, or if you have an Android, whatever, the voice recording app, and just have that running for an approach, and then you can listen back to it later and you realize, oh, maybe you sound extremely supplicating.
Yeah, or you're not adding pauses, or you're not speaking for your stomach, or you're just not coming across masculine. You just come across like somebody you're acting like a caricature of a person. You're not acting like a real person. So then you shouldn't be surprised when the girl treats you like a cardboard cutout of a person.
Yeah.
If you came across like a real person, it's harder to get rejected, as opposed to if you're not real. You're not being real. The girl can just be like, no, fuck you, get away from me.
So yeah, ask yourself, do I sound man to woman the way I'm talking, or do I sound woman to woman?
Yeah.
Or they, them to woman? Like, which one do you sound like when you're actually interacting? And I think that goes into another one of the points that we could talk about is what was it you said? I forgot.
I can't remember.
You said something really good. At the end, you're selling or supplicate.
Selling yourself, or
you want to
act
get
like
rejected?
you act like a cardboard cutout.
You act like a cardboard cutout. You act like a caricature version of yourself. You put on a mask and you do an intentionally half-assed approach to get rejected, because then the real you can't get rejected. I know I did this hardcore. I did this with the mystery method. So if you don't know, the mystery method is all about using fake lines and memorize gambits and techniques and being like, I'm a wizard, more like a magician. And that's the way you talk to girls. And I would use these dumb openers like, who lies more, men or women? And I would never let the girl know I like her. I wanted to hide that fact. And then she might not reject me for a long ass time,
but if comes,
she can't accept me either because I'm not even putting something out there. It's like a salesman doesn't mention, I'm offering, in this case, the D. If you don't offer the D, they can't accept it or reject it. It's still working. It's good. Okay. And so that's another very common one. How do you fix that?
Well, you got to start listening. You got to start actually trying to, drop the facade. Focus on one piece at a time. So let's say you are building rapport, identify it, and focus on that solely. So when you go out, your only goal is to work on the tonalities, to work on breaking rapport through tone. If it's talking fast, your only goal is adding pauses. If you are speaking high in your throat in a very bitchy and almost a gay way, start learning how to speak more and more in your stomach. Start doing exercises. Isolate this issue as well. Focus on this over the course of maybe a month even. Like just hammer it into the ground until it's no longer an issue, until it's a habit.
I think if you're rejecting yourself, another thing you can do is make sure to have a period where you're doing very direct game. Yeah. Where you're going all out, right? You're putting you're making it very clear, you're hitting on the girl, you think she's attractive, and you're physical, and you're like, hey, let's go dance. Hey, what are you doing later? I have a kickback. We should go back to my place. Hi. Hey, do you want to play foosball? You're trying to pull the girl, you're leading, you're going for the makeout, you're making it very clear that what you're doing is hitting on her. You're not pretending not to hit on her. Yeah. And then you will get rejected, and it will hurt.
Yeah.
Especially the first times. It will hurt, but you'll realize you're still here. It didn't destroy your entire reality, your entire view of who you are. You're not James Bond. It's proven. I'm not who I thought I was. My soul is dying. That's not going to happen. It's going to hurt a little. And you're like, it wasn't that big of a deal. It wasn't the end of the world. And after you get rejected enough times, you stop being afraid of that rejection, and that's when you can become authentic. And once you can do that, then you can be more indirect. Then you can be more smooth with it if you want to, because you're not in protection mode, right? You're not in like, how do I stop myself from getting rejected? That's the key.
Yeah. There's also, there's a type of rejection, which he mentioned earlier. It's where you are not breaking rapport, but you're severing rapport. There's a difference between breaking rapport and severing rapport. It's you dissing on her because she's drinking Starbucks. It's basically, you cannot come back from it. It's not like this playful back and forth banter. It's not a we frame, it's a you versus me frame. It's a fuck you, I'm gonna win frame.
Instead of being too supplicating, it's the exact opposite.
Yeah.
It's I'm too cool to even hit on you. I'm too cool to like you. Mm-hmm. And you think it's a pickup thing, right? Mm-hmm. It's you learn that from pickup, nagging and all these kinds of ideas, teasing, but you take it too far to the point where they think you're just a dick, right?
Yeah.
And that's another common one.
Well, there's actually a second reason that people will do this, and I've seen this in a very few clients, but this could be you. There's a type of client where he'll do this, but not from a place of him trying to do a gambit, but him trying to reject her before he gets rejected himself, and it's so subconscious, and until like a coach brings it up, usually a guy will never even notice he's doing this. There's ways that you will almost purposely get rejected to honestly reject her first instead of you getting rejected because you feel like she's higher value than you, and to protect your ego. I've seen clients do this a lot, and it's very what's the word for it? It's super subtle. It's insidious. Insidious is the word I'm looking for. It's very insidious, and it's not on purpose. It's just like it's a layers upon layers of rationalizations that led you to this point of you being an asshole to the girl you think is attractive.
So the next one that comes to mind is something that is, it's so obvious that you would think we shouldn't have to say it, and you'd think everyone would know it, but it's so common that people do this wrong, and that's just not holding laser eye contact. Just not, like when you approach, if you're looking around, looking away, and you're like, it makes it seem like you don't want her to talk to you. It makes her feel like this guy has something to hide, has negative intentions, right? If you just smile and hold strong eye contact, you just give them positive energy. You're looking at her like, I think you're hot. And I enjoy that, you know? Yeah. And I'd like to get to know you a little bit further. And you have that energy with your eyes, right? You're looking at them with a look of basically positive intention, but also desire. Yeah. If you have that in your eye contact, everything is 1,000 times more effective. But if you're looking around, darting around, and like, or you're doing like the mean mug kind of look. Some guys do that. Yeah. The mean mug, like, I don't want to make love to you. I want to kill you. Yeah. If you do those things, eye contact is so simple. But how have you actually ever thought about it or paid attention to it? I'm sure you've heard it before, but it's like a handshake. You know how many people give a bad handshake even though they've done it 1,000,000 times? It's very common. It's one of those things that sounds easy, but it's not as easy as it sounds because you actually have to put some effort into it. Yeah, well, it's the difference between punching at the wall, through the wall, versus through the wall, and emotions are contagious. Like, whatever emotion you're feeling, she's going to feel. If you're sad, angry, depressed, you feel these emotions, she's automatically going to say no, because she can hear it in the lilt of your voice. Girls are very quick to pick this shit up. And if you are somebody that's sad, angry, depressed, all these fucking negative emotions, stressed out, she doesn't want to be around that energy. She's feeling exactly what you're putting off. The emotions she should be feeling are excited, happy, relaxed, and aroused, turned on, horny. Like, those are the best emotions to feel when you approach a girl. If you feel those emotions, the girl's like, oh, cool, these are great emotions for me to feel. And maybe she wants to be part slightly judgmental. It's like, slightly disapproving. I'm not sure about slightly disapproving, yeah. He reminds me of my father. This is great. So the other one that I was going to say, this one, honestly, is something that mainstream brings up a lot. But if you come across looking like a homeless person, or you come across looking socially unintelligent, you want to dress in a way that makes you look socially intelligent. In a way that makes you look like you have not necessarily even your shit together, but you look like you are a functioning member of society. You are empathetic and caring, and you're not going to stab her if she, you're not. If you approach her in a dark alleyway, she's running away from you. Unless she's into that. Unless she's into it, apparently, yeah. There's some weirdos out there. But yeah, like, take care of your dress. I've had clients come on the boot camp where we have to go and take time to go buy them outfits. I've had that too, yeah. Yeah. I mean, honestly, just like, if you don't know, just go to Zara. Zara's fine, right? Zara's not look, if you're rich, go to Armani, go to Dior, go to that kind of shit. Great. Yeah. And then ask the employees, they'll help you choose the right things. Mm-hmm. But if that's, you're normal and you're not like super rich, just go to Zara, right? Zara's fine. Zara has good clothes. Amazing clothes. And they're generally they're affordable, but they're not like Target or like Walmart, right? They're actually relatively fashionable. So that would be, you're not gonna fail super hard with Zara, except some of the clothes that are made for gay men, but those are the see-through ones. Just don't get the see-through shit, because that's not good. Zara, or if you want to be even cheaper, H&M is okay as well. Mm-hmm. Just go to H&M and you'll be fine, right? European fashion brands, generally they're more stylish and you'll be fine. Yeah. There is one last one that comes to mind, which is positioning. And this is especially true in day game. It does also happen in night game, but being aware when you approach a girl, let's say a girl's walking. I remember I had one client who would always approach specifically while he's behind her and very loud. He had a booming, powerful voice, which was good, but it was scary in that context, right? From behind, hey, you're very cute. And she's like, what the fuck? And starts walking faster. Yeah. And as soon as it took me a lot to hammer it in and get him to actually approach from in front, he got rejected over 90% of his approaches. And then once I got him to start going in front of the girls, basically you want to, if a girl's walking, you either want to get way in front of her and try to stop her, that's fine. Or you go to her side, give her plenty of space, right? Give her more than arm's length, basically more than striking range, because some strangers there, and if they're in striking range, it can be a little nerve-wracking, right? Yeah. But if they're far enough away, and then this person gets in front of you by a few feet, and then they make eye contact, that is so much more comfortable. And there's something also that I'm going to add to this, which I think is very important. Never make her feel like she's trapped. So even if so let's say I'm in a big crowd,
and like we have to force to be close to each other, I'll usually approach her and I'll lean away like this. I'll lean away from her like this. Or let's say if there's a wall. If there's a wall, I'll make it to where like I'll give her enough space away from her, like to where she feels like she can at any point escape. If she's up against a wall, you need to give her more space. You want to make her feel like there's always an out. If she ever feels like
I've seen people do that wrong, and I'm so cringe. Like
I've
I've had it to where like a girl's cornered because two guys approached at the same time and cornered her in the mall, and I like took them as like, let's go, because you're making her so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Like, you got to be aware of these things. Her perception, her experience. That's why the mainstream has a problem with pickup, and it's kind of understandable because a lot of the stuff, if you go into the old material or even some of the new material, especially the red pill kind of stuff, it's not concerned about empathy about a woman's perspective, but you got to be aware of what she's feeling, what she wants to feel, and what makes her feel uncomfortable, right? And if you're paying attention to that, you're going to have a much higher success rate. And in terms of positioning, yes, you do want to make sure that you make her feel comfortable, but there's also intensity. So especially in like a nightclub, if you're 6 feet away because you're worried about COVID or some shit, then you might be too far and she doesn't really experience you, right? So you want to be as close as you can until she starts to tense up, basically, right? As close as you can without her being tense, because the closer you are, the more there's a sense of intimacy, togetherness, the more it's just sexual tension. And a lot of guys play it a little too safe, where they're not physical at all, especially in nightclubs, and they're not close enough to the girl where she really can even hear them, right? In a super loud nightclub, they can't even necessarily hear you, and you're like, you're very, very beautiful, and she's like, I'm a what? A toot? What? And then she's like, bye.
This is me realizing this is actually a topic we can almost make a video, part 2 about, but maybe we'll do that if you guys want us to. Just let us know in the comment section below. I think that sounds like honestly a great idea, because as I'm sitting here, I'm thinking about more
other
things.
Ones,
Yeah,
there's a lot.
I was thinking, as I was sitting here, I thought about 3 more things that like I'm realizing this is this could be a very expansive video.
But we have to go pick up some girls ourselves.
Yeah. If you guys are interested in coaching, text me at 702-841-9909. If you want to follow this guy over here, I don't suggest it. I'm way cooler, but his name is Avery Hayden, A.G. Hayden. He's also another dating coach. He's one of my best friends. Go ahead and follow him. Yeah, subscribe. That being said, peace.
Bitch, I got some buzzes clawing.